he does. Barb, here, I can share this. Nobody's gonna be there. So put this over for Craig. Now. Meeting's not a go yet.
Councilman? Listen, let me just say, I got this out of my car. Of course, the last one I got from your office, no good. Those
You
ones-
loved it when you walked out the
I
door.
did, but it didn't last the whole meeting.
Are you doodling a lot?
Yes, I always do, that's what I do.
He makes boxes.
I make boxes, and when it's answered, I check. I got short-term memory problems.
This is what we
Try to check, are we alive?
overturned. I'm pretty confident we overturned.
Yeah, we didn't actually act on this. We definitely didn't. We did all of our attorneys and everybody else.
Yes, to do,
So he does have a copy of the local law, but we never acted on it. So we said, oh, that is the right law.
because they have one of the ads.
I think while we're waiting for Adrian, we'll get started. First of all, I'm supposed to tell everybody where the exits are. That exit goes all the way outside. That's the way you came in. This goes through my office and you can get out into the hallway from there. So this is a workshop to discuss the rezoning that is recommended by the comprehensive plan. What our format for this meeting is going to be is we're going to go through each of the neighborhoods as directed by the comprehensive plan, and we're going to evaluate the zoning and decide what, if any of them, we're actually going to do. Although the comprehensive plan is the law, basically, the guiding zoning, we're not really obligated necessarily to do everything all at once. So what I've handed out to all of our colleagues here on the town board is the actual neighborhoods, one by one. And we're gonna start with neighborhood 1 for the benefit of the public. Neighborhood 1 is Round Lake Road, basically. So it's, if you look up there at the map, the line that goes through the middle is Round Lake Road. You see the Northway to the east. You see East Line Road, and I guess it's all East Line. I don't know where it changes to Long Hill, but East Line Road and the border of the town of Ballston. All of that hashed out stuff is actually our planned development districts. And so I will let whichever one of our staff is going to talk about exit 11.
Yep.
Or, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna talk about exit 11, which is neighborhood 1. In the comp plan, there was recommendations for rezoning the commercial corridor on Round Lake Road. I'm gonna hand this out. It's in the comp plan, but I'm gonna give it out to the board members. I want to hand that to Craig. So the question for you guys is short and simple. Do you want to do this or do you not?
Do what?
The recommendations for the exit 11 Hamlet commercial zone, which are in the comp plan.
Maybe if you'll just,
So, oops,
It was to add more
Auto,
mandated
yes.
uses along that corridor.
yep. So,
And that spreadsheet has the colors on it.
What you got?
so,
The recommendation?
so there's 6 parcels basically, 10, 16, 9, and 318 Ruley Road South, and 320 Ruley Road South, and 30 Round Lake Road.
so on the map, the portion we're talking about is the two pink, the brighter pink and the softer pink.
C5. So there's also PDD, number 8, that we are recommending Planning staff recommends that you eliminate that, which is the Grand Prix.
To actually attach to the C5A and the C5 uses to what Gloria just handed out.
Yep.
So the spreadsheet, the green is what we have.
Existing.
And the gold is what would be new. And it's basically to promote redevelopment along that corridor to get rid of some of the properties that are in distress and give them the opportunity to be able to build something different, maybe better attract,
Well,
uses.
the first one here, right? Nursing, convalescent home, says minimum lot size of 80,000 square feet. Is that the lot size or is that the building size?
That's a
A
lot.
lot size.
That's like a 2-acre lot, 2-acre lot.
I don't have my handy dandy calculator, but what is one,
It's 1.8
1.8 is
acres is 80,000 square feet.
1.8.
It's 43,560.
It's basically to try to spur some development down there. A lot of the residents down there, there aren't a whole lot of services, and there's an awful lot of people living down there.
And it's relatively built out.
Yeah, it is.
The neighborhood one is generally built out, except for a few parcels that should be redeveloped.
And one of those parcels, of course, is the Grand Prix
Pre,
Governor's Tap Room. Yeah, right.
on the corner there.
So that's PD,
The source something that's getting knocked down?
The restaurant.
Restaurant,
The restaurant is gonna be demolished and that site's gonna be cleaned up.
And that hotel in the back? is-
that's still staying,
Smoker.
Still staying for
still
now.
staying.
Say that out loud, right?
No, you can't. So,
Say what?
to encourage redevelopment of that site, planning staff is highly recommending that we eliminate the PDD and replace it with C5 and C5A zoning.
and that also is mentioned here, isn't it? Evaluate the existing PDDs for consistency with community vision.
Correct.
That PDD is one of the oldest ones that we have in town, and it literally allows a restaurant in the motel,
Yeah.
And nothing
and
else.
that's it.
So this zoning, this information that was handed out, the C5A would overlay, so if you look at the map on the, it's the pink would be C5A. The overlay would also overlay the Bishop Square and the
Walgreens.
Walgreens restaurant.
Yeah.
Because Bishop Square, the Walgreens is a PDD, it only allows for a pharmacy, and they have an empty lot next door that's part of the PDD.
Next to Walgreens.
Part of
Yeah,
that?
the parcel that's open between Trusco and
yeah.
is only allowed for the pharmacy.
And so
that-
extinguishing that PDD and rezoning it to C5A would allow more.
Yes,
Makes sense, makes sense.
like in my Applebee's.
Correct. That would be great.
Without going line by line, the big difference between
What's what?
5A and 5 is the automotive repair,
No,
gas station.
so five is a little bit different, has a few less uses, right?
Yes.
So 5A, the ones that are closest to the Northway, allow for the restaurant, an automotive repair, a wholesale business. Oops, wholesale is on there. Pet grooming, I guess,
The only thing I got a question about
there's
is,
two additional.
it's in the green, which means it's already,
Yeah, the green in here, yes, is already allowed.
Right.
but if we wanted to have a drive-through with that restaurant, this says no drive-through.
We're proposing restaurant with drive-through
And the gold,
in the gold. So
Oh, okay, I just saw the green.
right, because that's what exists.
that's
now.
what it exists, so you would take out restaurant.
That's-
So we
that's
would
beautiful.
eliminate that, and then we would add a drive-through restaurant.
I think it looks great.
But, yeah, but again, eliminating the PDDs opens all of that up to that,
I was gonna ask that question.
right? If we,
If you do that, what's the consequence?
If-
I mean, it's,
Or you, go ahead.
what's the consequences for eliminating that ADD that somebody had granted to them?
I mean, we've done it in the form-based code, like Blacksmith Square, like the Nigro, they're really,
Niagara Price Chopper was extinguished.
is Price Chopper, Lakeview Landings PDD was, or Lakeview Outlets PDD was extinguished. We're actually granting them more opportunity
Right.
than, because the PDDs are pretty limited. Or
locks
you
it
can
in
do a C5 overlay
Yeah.
over top of the PDD so they can keep their existing uses.
So you can keep that, but on top of that, you have
You
other
could,
options,
but
right?
I'm pretty sure the way this is set up is that the uses that were included in the PDDs are included in here. So that like Bishop Square, which is that Stewart corner with Stewart's and the little strip mall, or the mixed-use building back.
They get three,
You could
So-
do that, or you could do the overlay.
Right. So the example was that the Governor's Tap Room right now can only be a restaurant, motel.
And a hotel,
And a hotel. But if we extinguish that PDD and make it C5,
C5A.
C5A, then that they have all of these uses. So it gives them more opportunity for redevelopment.
What is that's always been a huge issue. And I've always heard that the owners just don't want to do anything. Is that true? I mean,
I don't think so. I think that they'd like to redevelop that parcel, the Governor's Tap Room.
Yes,
They're-
they do. wanna
they
do
do.
that. They're access challenged. With New York State DOT, there's some challenges of getting access onto the road. So there's some things that need to be worked out, cross-access easements, some other things. It's not that they don't want a redevelopment, it's just difficult.
what's the restaurant?
Been very
access
difficult.
what, to Round Lake?
Right, because
They have to share access
Right,
with,
the DOT
I've also heard
with the,
Because of the close
about the-
proximity of
There you go.
87 and the ramp. and all of
the
that,
DOT
there's-
won't give them a
they're all
curb
too
cut.
Correct.
close in the line of sight, and the traffic there is a huge issue.
But I don't think it's an insurmountable challenge either. They're,
They've had people look at it. I mean, there's been people interested, but that access part has to be figured out.
That really isn't our challenge, that's state issue.
yeah.
Behind Sunoco. I move the
I could
proposed,
see that
yeah, but you still
opened
need to
up
get access from all
and,
those other people.
what's the status on the senior housing across from Hannaford and
Well-
Murray's issue?
Again, this,
Part-
that's part of this.
That's
That is
C5.
part of it.
Say yes, it's in here.
So the other thing,
So
That
that's,
was addressed
that's
in the
over here,
plan.
Yes.
right? Well, this is neighborhood one. That's what we're talking about, is that area. And this rezoning would allow then for senior housing in the C5. And he's included in there. It's everything on that map, pretty much.
so may I just throw a little something else in here? So as a planner, I look at this, the permitted use tables, right?
Yep.
And then the special use permit table.
Yep.
Very heavy on special use permit table. Something to consider is, would you like to move some of the things out of the special use permit category to the permitted by right without having to go through special use permit?
In other
And
words,
keep in mind, when
even
someone has
open
to
it
go
up.
for a special use permit, they have to go in front of the planning board. And they have a little bit more of a rigorous set of, tests, so to
Criteria,
say.
yeah.
Criteria, thank you, that they have to meet in order to get a yes.
Like a fitness center, does it really need to go through a special use
I think we
permit?
should make it as easy as possible to get a business in there without jumping through. the-
Well,
I
then
mean, a
move-
couple things.
Move more of
Right.
these to the.
All over.
Okay,
move
I
them
could,
all over?
Why
They
not?
still have to go through site plan.
right.
Right, right.
I mean, really, some of professional
Not talking.
office,
Crazy stuff.
No, none of these are.
none of these are crazy.
So if you wanted to, you could just take them out of the special use permit criteria and throw them over here.
I actually favored actually opening up to bring more businesses in without a hurdle. Without having to go back to the planning board.
Well, I think we got enough businesses here to choose from. If we just move it away from special use permit, I think that kind of opens everything up. I mean,
It's, just look through them quickly. Is there anything on here that you would rather, that you'd like to see the planning board have? I mean, I don't see anything problematic, frankly. Professional office, yeah, more scrutiny.
this,
I feel that the proposal here meets the recommendation one for neighborhood one. I do want to ask a question, I would like to, like the town board's opinion, have representatives from the planning and zoning board involved in these workshops here. I would like to hear their thoughts on stuff.
Planning board's here.
I mean, basically, that's why planning staff is here, but again, you know,
But, yeah, they do phenomenal
We
work.
make the
but
policy though, and they have to institute it.
I understand that. But we have volunteers on both the planning and zoning board that I know a lot of times they pass things that they probably wish they didn't have to pass, but they have to because of what we establish here. And should they be involved in this process?
Well, we can send a special email to them and let them know whenever you schedule the next workshop
Yeah.
that's been brought up. The town board would like to have some of them in attendance, whoever can make it. I mean, Murray's on the planning board and he's here, so we at least have one, you know, as of right now. But we can do that without any problem whenever you set up your
They can
next
come
one.
back and look, see,
Yeah.
and get their opinion, but yes,
well, plus,
everyone's invited.
plus with,
You
with,
know, right,
with any of
everybody's
these,
open, but-
in the process, of course, we'll have public input. So, you know, but yeah, that week, for the next workshop, I'm more than happy to have, the more the merrier. I think planning staff has a pretty good handle on where the planning board is with stuff, but yeah, next time we'll invite them.
All right,
So-
so I heard yes.
Is that a
I
yes?
heard yes.
Neighborhood one?
Get rid of the special use permit out of C5 and C5A?
My hand's up, that means a yes.
Okay, what about,
And we're eliminating the PDD?
Yes.
so definitely,
Well, it's 3 PDDs, right?
PDDs,
Right.
yep.
Eckerd, well, no, Country Knolls?
this one, no, not Country
Yeah,
Knolls,
there's no reason to do anything
No,
about
you-
that.
no.
But Bishop Square and Eckerd
C5 and C5A,
And Grand Prix.
and Grand Prix.
Grand Prix.
Why don't we have to do anything with the country knolls?
Well, if we don't, it's
Because
built,
that's,
yeah.
that's more, that thing golfs all the way down to Clifton Park.
Yeah, and it's
It's-
it's residential, it's,
It's in the Hannaford Plaza. I don't believe.
It's already built.
the Hannaford Plaza is in the PDD, it looks like, right?
I think it was, yeah.
It is, 'cause
It's
we
in,
just did
it's in the
recently.
C5.
Right.
It's 2 lots.
So what is the PDD for country knolls?
PDD number
Housing.
4.
Yeah,
Well, it's mixed. It's, PDD number 4 is the Hannaford Plaza along Round Lake Road.
right.
It includes Chango Drive all the way down in. So that is a true PDD. Commercial, school, you name it, and residential, mixed residential. That was a
But it's pretty much all built out.
built out.
Yeah, there's no more room in there.
You know, this map, in the scope, you could do the C5 as an overlay along Round Lake Road without eliminating PDD number 4 or impacting it. You're just adding some additional
So
uses
we could
to
add,
that.
yeah,
You
to the
can-
Hannaford,
To the Hannaford Plaza. That's what the recommendation in here is.
because that's really all we're talking about. Oh, yeah, I see, it goes all the
Yeah,
way.
so it runs all the way up to
Django.
Chango and up to the Eitzman
That, so
property.
that is what it's talking about, doing basically an overlay for that portion of the Country Knolls PDD, okay. I'm okay with that.
The mixed use, that's where you got the apartments over the residential? Or apartments over commercial?
Apartments over commercial,
This is, it does have mixed use most restrictive,
it does.
which is,
There's not a lot. I mean, we have a couple places down there that are finally zoning compliant because of the building itself. Pre-existing, non-conforming, had commercial, and then it had an apartment in there. For instance, Dr. Buckley's office previously now is a mixed-use building. They got a special use permit for a mixed use because there was an existing apartment in there.
Who's Dunkin' Buck?
I mean, if you want to leave that as a special use
Before you're
permit, you know, if that's
So-
something you want to see more oversight on.
One building
Oh,
on Ruley Road.
Under the mixed use clause or line right here, they knocked down that restaurant at exit 11. They could
build a new one.
legally put a commercial on bottom floor, apartments on the second floor, correct?
Correct.
I don't really care for mixed use. I'm not a big fan of
We,
it.
we actually earlier today talked about basically definitions and at some later discussion, because that mixed use most restrictive is exactly that pretty much. And, you know, maybe in this process of rezoning, we can redefine that.
I mean, what is it? So it says use most restrictive. Who decides what the restrictions are?
That has its definition, which Floria's gonna find that definition for you right
Why
now.
are you
Mixed
not in
use
favor?
is the definition in our zoning code. A mix of uses permitted with the zoning classification in one building or at one site, such as a mix of housing types, retail and office, which use traditional neighborhood design concepts. So if apartments are allowed or residential, but I think you're very worried about, you associate this mixed use most restrictive to some other site in town and,
Which one like that?
right, and, but
That's
in
fair,
our,
yeah.
but in our commercial zoning table, there is a caveat in mixed use, I'm not gonna say the zone, that states, in addition to that, hold on a second. Mixed use / most restrictive with an asterisk, it says multi-tenant building max of 3 first-floor units and second-story habitable space required. That doesn't necessarily, it's not clearly stated in here, in the C5.
Oh,
So this is C2, is multi-tenant building max. There's some conflicts that you guys are gonna have to redefine. Are you going to redefine it in the mixed uses definition? Or are you going to clearly call out on the use table, right?
Are you concerned about the 2 stories versus 3 stories in that?
In that neighborhood? We have a bulk height,
I think it's at 2 stories now.
well, let's just look at the building
Grand
height
three, right?
max. So
30.
a mixed use, it doesn't have one, so you probably need to say maximum height of 30 feet or 40 feet or something like that, right?
So your numbers here, 50 feet, is that 2 stories?
That's
30 feet is 1 story, 2 stories?
30 is like a two-story it's a regular two-family house. A lot of buildings are 30 feet.
I think the
I mean, what do we got here?
church,
50 is probably 3
What's the only-
stories.
and the church probably has that because of. if
Yeah,
they've got
and a
steeper or
fitness center
something.
has 50 because you never know what they're doing, right? They might need that rec facility, same thing. Generally, everything has, it's 25 or 30 feet.
When you- So right now, the mixed use has got, you said 3 apartments on the bottom or 3 stores on the bottom?
3,
3 commercial,
3 commercial.
Max.
And the square footage of that is,
there's no,
there's no
No,
square footage?
there isn't one in here. I don't believe there was one called out in the other zone that
no,
doesn't
and
apply here. It
that was
doesn't-
one of the things that
It's-
we've
it's
discussed having
just-
to do is
Right.
put a maximum floor square footage.
Yeah, it's-
So when you update this table,
Right,
your zoning table, but these are some discussions that, you know, you're gonna need to decide in this, in the C5A and C5 area, are you okay with mixed use? I mean, Hannaford Plaza is mixed use.
right.
Right. It's just a mix of uses that are allowed, so if the
Right,
only.
in one building.
so if you
Right,
only
so-
have 2 uses, it can only be those.
So if somebody wanted to build a professional office and a hair salon, those are still,
That's mixed use.
That's
but
mixed
it's
use.
allowed.
It's mixed with, among commercial.
Commercial, right. So,
but also allowed as one-family dwelling.
right.
I guess what we really have to do is put a maximum lot size, right? And that would kind of handle things.
No, I think you should use mixed-use commercial, like Jamie was saying. Because we want to allow the mixed uses of commercial businesses to, Because many times you have one small business, and now you have a second or third that feed off that support each other.
I agree, I'm just,
I get it.
So are you comfortable with that, if we have mixed-use commercial and then at
mixed-use
some point?
commercial, where's
Okay.
that listed?
Mixed-use commercial.
We'd essentially be
Yeah,
making,
mixed-use commercial.
Just change it, and it's just commercial.
And we'll do that for both. And then,
Are you?
Takes away the habitable space.
Yep.
all right, so we okay with neighborhood one?
I'm liking it.
All good?
And we're moving everything out of special use permit into permitted use.
Yeah, make it easy on you.
Thank you. Well, it's easy, makes it easier on the planning board too. I mean, they still have to go through planning board.
Yeah, I just don't think we have to make extra hurdles for businesses to get into it.
So moving on to neighborhood two. Neighborhood two, for those of you out there, is the area, basically it's 67 East. So it's from Route 9 is on the western edge and the Stillwater Town Line on the east. The northernmost is up to Copper Ridge. So, south of here. It includes Round Lake and Knapp Road and Lake Ridge. And I don't know who's on deck.
I'll be on deck again.
Okay,
I'm just gonna hit you with another map.
oh, this
So
is another map.
So this is my quick, Adrian's like, you're not making a hand-drawn map, are you? I'm like, yes, I
Oh,
am.
here.
This got
Forget
thrown
mine,
on us
Barb.
pretty last minute. So we're,
Sorry.
do I get to have a copy?
yes, sir. So you can
came
critique.
to me in my
You were
sleep.
very busy doing something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So neighborhood two, the Maltaville area, basically the comp plan is recommending that we rezone a portion or portions of the Maltaville area that is R1 to R5 along Route 67 East. So we kind of looked at this kind of quickly. If you notice that my red
Marker.
red marks,
Very bold.
right, well, I've thrown it together, let's just go with it. It's not touching Route 67 purposely, because a lot of those lots right along Route 67 are already small.
Right.
And if we even put more restriction on them, it's only gonna send everybody to the ZBA.
All right,
So, because a lot of those are residential lots, and then what's behind there are larger lots that are actually accessed from Knapp Road. So downzoning this, or upzoning it, or however you want to call it, proposing that area of the R1 be changed to R5. So you're going from a 1 acre lot to a 2 acre lot in
So
essence.
that's just a big difference between the 1 and the 5 is acreage of the land?
Correct.
right.
Same uses. So the orange area on here is R5 on the maps that's up on the screen. We did that a few years ago.
Yeah.
And the comp plan, and the
Yeah.
last time we had town board workshops, the town board wanted to extend that R5 further. The reason why I'm not choosing to do the eastern portion or recommending is because you got Settlers Ridge, I believe is,
Ridge.
Lake Ridge, sorry. They're already small lots. It's already a conservation subdivision.
Bridge?
Yeah, some of them are large, some of them are smaller. They're done under the R1 zoning. Why would we, as a town, make all those homes non-conforming?
Yeah.
When this area is pretty well built out anyway. So the area that in general, we would have to look at the parcels and come up with an actual zoning chart.
What PDD is that?
Luther Forest, no,
Is that the well field? Okay,
yeah, there's some,
yeah, all right.
there's some
Again, now,
town-owned parcels in
town-owned
there.
parcels, right,
up in that Knapp Road area. So we have control over those
Right,
already.
right.
And then there's some larger lots. And it's hard to see the parcels
Favor the way the map is, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, that was kind of the intent anyway of the,
so that would take care of neighborhood too, because there's not a lot to it. It's single-family residential, two-family by special use permit.
everybody good?
I'm a go.
Okay,
So
take your
by
time.
doing that, you're opening it up to more development in
No,
back of?
no,
No,
exactly the
reducing-
opposite.
We're increasing lot sizes,
Okay.
so.
We're down zoning.
So why
Downzoning.
wasn't this done back when we?
2017?
I have no idea.
knows?
Yeah. I mean,
is-
I can't answer that question.
What is the average lot size down there? Is it kind of,
It's all over because you got rural, you got large lots that
Yeah.
are 8, 15, and then you got along Route 67, some small lots. And then that Settler, Lake Ridge area.
fairly substantial in size.
I think they're like 1 acre lots or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
I think they were done under straight R1 zoning.
so right now, right now it's a R1. And for one-family dwelling, 40,000 square feet, what, half an acre, 3/4 of an acre?
It's almost an
Almost an acre,
Almost an
just
acre.
shy of an acre.
And we were gonna double that to 2 acres.
2 acres, same road frontage. I mean, this is, again, these were recommendations, they're not, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. If you want to leave it, because we tackled this in 2017.
So the recommendation says retain some of the town's rural character.
Down zoning would promote that.
So my question is this, 1 acre to me is plenty. I believe that the town needs more houses. And if we downzone and make it that you have to have a minimum of 2 acres of land before you can even put a house on there, are we eliminating how many houses
Yep.
people are gonna be able
It's
to
like
build?
half.
Right,
So we did, there's a build-out analysis.
There's a build-out
There are
analysis.
There's a
build-out,
whole bunch of new apartments back there.
that's Stillwater.
That's Stillwater, yep.
It's not us.
It's not us?
Yeah.
Do not blame that on us, Mr.
Who can I
That's
blame?
all Stillwater.
Stillwater.
No, a
blame them.
lot of those are vacant at this
That is
time.
not
Well,
us.
there's a lot back there.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And they're building more.
And when that happened, that's when our town board got really nervous and decided to change that eastern part of Route 67
Yep.
to R5, to have,
That
to
whole
restrict that,
corridor.
to give that buffer.
The other thing to
All the
consider,
other lots kind of lined up like that, one, 2 acres thin like that.
The-
Is the property lines defined yet in this area?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah, they just don't, they're not
Not in this
shining
map.
through.
So, but if we change this to R5, does that affect like the property lines and we would have to get,
No,
not making it harder for people? Making it easier, right?
Most of them are large lots in there,
yeah,
where she's,
yeah, most
where
of those
she's
are large lots.
recommending. She's taking those large lots out with her little red line.
and a lot of that area
Can't
as
really
well.
build back here, right? It's in like a big hill or something like that?
It's wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There's a lot of
kind of
room
a,
in there. There's not a lot.
The other issue with that area is water. There's really no water.
so if somebody owns 10 acres, they want to subdivide, they can only subdivide it 5 times. Or no?
Not the
They
way it is
also need
now.
road frontage.
Right, yeah, they need road
So
frontage.
most of these lots already only have anywhere from 200 to 400 feet of road frontage.
Yeah, there's only not that many roads back there.
Is it necessary to even change this neighborhood?
That's,
Is there any
That's,
going
that's
back
the
in
good
there?
question.
that's why we're here
Because it's a
today.
recommendation, it
Yeah.
has
So,
to happen
right.
now. You
Right.
Correct.
So we took a look at what was,
Must have been
recommend-
John Hartzell who voted that stuff.
Yeah. But he's not here.
it's not here.
So if
If you don't want to change.
you don't want to change it, then that's
That's
fine.
And
great.
then, in the recommendation also says that, consider a transitional district between the rural and the commercial zones. And if we limit it that you have to have, I got a house on 2 acres of land and right next to it's commercial, it's not really, is that a good transition?
Well. we
Well,
would-
the only commercial is right here,
So, right, we leave this along the backside of
which is just the
commercial
beginning
area
of
is
67.
R1.
I don't want to discourage the building of single-family homes.
Okay,
Okay,
So, let's say we just leave it then, move on out. That's number 2.
okay.
number 2,
That's easy.
neighborhood 3.
We're not doing
Moving
it.
around.
Okay, so neighborhood 3 is,
We did.
right, so some of these actually, the comp plan was updated to adjust changes that the former town board made. Route 9 South is one of those, but we also made a change after that. So for the public out there, Route 9 South is basically from the Stonebreak Road roundabout south to 67, the bypass roundabout. It is, a lot of PDDs. It's bordered from one side to Northway, and the other side must be the town line, right? No, Woodfield. No, because we got LFTC beyond that, so it includes Woodfield, Stonebreak Road, a little bit of Luther Forest. So that
Neighborhood 3, is that what we're talking about?
neighborhood 3, everybody got a new
yeah.
map. We replaced them.
Okay,
So the area that, all of that was rezoned, so the top there is part of the form-based code, the green part. But, we extended the red to the south to the property lines before. So this map is not even the same one that's in the comp plan. The map in your packet is the current zoning map.
yeah, you did that.
And again, there really is no recommended changes in the PDD or in the comp plan, other than extinguishing the just for trucks PDD, which is Dr. Price's office.
Way back when we were changing
Neighborhood
C9
three.
to C2 or C2 to C9.
C9, we
This is,
extended,
this is directly taken from that.
that
These
was,
are the 2 pages
Because
about that
they were up
neighborhood.
here,
it was
like
split
this,
zone.
So we just pulled it back.
All right.
So you went
West,
west, you didn't go
Yes.
south.
correct.
How does that affect what is C9, where the senior
Well,
house?
this did too, because it was all kind of right here, so the C9 moved here and then the commercial moved.
So
It
that's-
was kind of jagged through this area.
Well, that's simple, so that C9 does not affect the senior housing that's going in there?
No, that's the pink.
That's the pink.
Yep,
That's right. It's all good.
it's all good. It's zoning compliant.
Yes, correct.
And let me ask this question though. If those guys from New York Development Group is looking to do condos and apartments back here and it says R1, is that allowed?
No.
No, that's
why they're
that's
doing
why they've applied for PDD.
Single family houses.
See, I get educated finally, I come around. I'm slow, but I'll get there one day. Time to leave.
This is Malta Gardens also, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Malta Gardens, however, is a PDD.
it's Park Place is part of this.
Yeah.
That was the other thing that we talked about, is extinguishing the Park Place,
Commercial.
the commercial part, so taking these out of the PDD and making them
DX3.
DX3, which
Because
would be,
DX3
which
is
would be, all
just
of this would
north
be
to that.
DX3. That's something that's not recommended necessarily in the comp plan, but in talking,
X3.
Form-based code,
form-based code,
not in that one.
it's in this one. Uses.
You're looking.
Is that what you want to look at?
It says CG3, what's
So
the difference?
DX3 is
The green.
these,
Green corridor.
the green quarter,
That's CG3,
GC3.
GC3,
Green.
not DX3.
Is this coincidentally are the two pieces of commercial property that New York Development Group is gonna be,
No, they're down here.
So
This is what they want to redevelop.
right?
This is here.
it's this one right here. And there's like actually
Yeah. So this is what we're talking about changing,
Okay.
right?
this area.
Changing it to what?
Just
DX3.
putting it to DX3, so up here, Al, on your map.
Oh, I got the spot. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to define what DX3 is in my
There's
head.
probably there's approximately 4 or 5.
Do you want to look at the
parcels
uses?
that are bank-owned as part of the PDD, and they front Route 9. They're owned by Broadview now.
That actually,
Quite a while.
that discussion will actually be more valid when we do neighborhood 6,
Yes.
which is downtown. But since it's in
is part of-
neighborhood 3,
It is, it's fine. I mean, we can
Yeah.
talk about, the Park Place PDD, that those commercial lots have had interest, but then they find out that it's part of a PDD and that the uses in there and previous site plans don't go anywhere.
so we think that makes more sense, and it makes more sense, even looking at the map, for that to be. So for the public out there, what the area we're talking about is the very northern part of the map. You see there's green on both sides. And then when you go north on the west side of the road, there's a spot that's not green. That's actually part of the Park Place Plan Development District. So we're talking about changing that PDD. So it's what's between the mustard color and the green, changing that to green.
No, DX3.
DX3, which is green.
No,
No, that's purple.
That's purple.
Oh, it's purple. So,
Yeah,
oh,
saying.
So you're extending
I'm
the
confused.
purple up at the top, all
All
the
the
way
way down.
down.
All the way
to
down.
Right.
For,
And the DX3 is what?
downtown mixed use.
It just allows, again, it's a situation where it provides for some additional uses, so that these properties that have remained vacant or are underneath a PDD that doesn't really fit market anymore, have an opportunity to actually develop out,
Expand more.
yes.
Yep.
So the Stone Break Road property at the corner, the green one,
Yep.
what is allowed in there? Is that for senior housing
So let me go
also,
back. You
or-
guys are proposing that Park Place PDD portion be changed to DX3, not G3.
DX3.
Okay.
DX3.
I was going GC,
DX3 is,
part of the form-based code.
DX3 is grocery store, medical center, nano brewery. I don't know what that is. Parking garage, personal service shop, professional office, restaurant, retail business, theater. I'd like to see a theater come. And heavy commercial use can be a laboratory, research and development, or technology research office. Oh,
There's more,
There's
there's
way
2
more.
pages. No, just flip over. Yeah, there you go.
Holy smoke, I can't read that much out
No,
loud.
it's a
so I
lot.
guess my next question is there any interest in that corner lot that's green
I-
on the western side at this time?
Which one?
Yes,
The big lot
That one.
that's
Oh.
owned by DCG.
it's owned by DCG.
I don't think so. This,
I mean,
this one?
People
there's
talk
been
about it, they
inquiries.
inquire what can be placed there, and then they find out the use, and then their uses, and they're like, oh, it's such a big lot. They would like
Okay,
to.
my
Talking about this.
next question is,
Who owns that?
would
DCG.
senior housing be
Not-
allowed?
It is not allowed now.
It's not allowed in the
Not allowed
GC3.
now. And it wouldn't be allowed going
people
forward.
Is it allowed in the DX3?
Yes, because multifamily is allowed, and senior housing is allowed.
I'm not
Yes,
ready
right.
to give an opinion on changing that to form-based code.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, it's just something to discuss, but it is in the,
It's
on
also
the map.
something that we can discuss when we get to neighborhood
Yeah.
6
I
too.
think
We
that
can lump that
form-based
into neighborhood
code
6.
would- Is its own anyways.
What, a concern of mine is, Malta Gardens, it's a PDD. Can we change this to keep it a mobile home park in perpetuity, or what have you?
I don't know what the PDD says, but we did talk about, and originally, the comp plan had language that was meant to protect that manufactured housing. But then it was misunderstood, so it was just removed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I would be in favor of, at least making sure that it's a place that would be affordable or guarantee the manufactured home park.
I think there's actually,
I don't know what the PDD says for
well,
that.
it's also, again, a PDD with multiple uses, it's not just the mobile home park. We've
Right,
got
we got commercial on
Abner
Route 9.
Road, parts of it, and part of it has an overlay of C2. So you got apartments, you've got some commercial uses.
It's, my fear is somebody comes in, buys a mobile home park, evicts everybody or whatever, knocks it all down and puts in
Yep.
something else.
And like I said, we originally included language in the comp plan to protect that. But it was, I guess, badly interpreted or whatever. They thought it
We-
was, right.
Malta Gardens
right.
was
And it was
very
just
upset
language.
that we used the verbiage Malta Gardens.
I think it was a different word.
And in any case, yes, that is a concern. It was a concern of the comp plan committee that somebody would come in and want to build luxury apartments there.
What's wrong with that?
Because you're displacing underserved individuals.
But they still have to comply. I mean, there's
Why are they
still a
underserved?
process for that.
Lower income.
Somebody
I mean,
wants.
that might be something, if that's something we're interested in doing, then we'll probably have to not decide that tonight. We'll have to look up and see what else is out there. I know there's state guidance for language for that.
Final anyways here.
I don't know what.
Right, this is workshop with a more,
No, this is a workshop to decide what zoning we want to change. We're moving on with the rezoning. So
so it complies with the
it complies with the comp plan.
comp plan.
But if that, I'm certainly willing to look at something out there that, a vehicle for protecting that.
We have arguably three, whatever the politically correct.
So what does
term
that
is
do
for
to the
it.
home, to the guy that owns that land? So he's gotta keep a mobile home parks there forever?
Yeah, maybe.
Yep. So it keeps increasing the rents.
I just don't know if that applies to free market. It says you can only do this.
Well, the zoning is the zoning right now, too.
Right.
And what is the zoning? The zoning is
Plan development, PDD number,
just about do anything.
no,
No.
it's
No.
very
You
specific.
can't do anything
It's
other
for a
than what
mobile
he
home
granted.
park.
It's a certain number of apartments, it's a certain square footage of commercial.
For that PDD.
So
Each one-
that,
each one's
right,
got
so
its own
that alone
parameters.
protects it.
I don't know. I just thought with PDD was
No,
free for all.
Unless
for
we
everybody.
get rid
No.
of that EDD.
That's how I know.
So-
See, I don't know anything.
If the initial PDD that established the mobile home park has that written,
The mobile home park.
right,
Yep.
then why not just make
Is anyone
that
doing a
its own
coffee one?
zoning category?
it
already
already
It
is,
is, yeah,
already is.
yeah.
So if we leave it alone,
We don't fool with it. It stays as it always was.
They can't come back and say, hey, it's a PDD, I wanna
Well,
put
they
in.
could.
well, remember, the thing with the PDD is we can just say no.
You can say no right out of the gate.
Right,
Just don't entertain them.
Like a little bit more.
a little more protection.
That's a huge tool. I mean,
I'll see what I can find. We'll look and see what we can find that would add additional protection for that, because here's the thing. This town board might just say no, but in 10 years,
somebody else might say something else.
right,
Well, we talk about needing affordable homes, and those are more
Yeah.
affordable than
yeah.
much else that's available, so it is a good idea.
So let's just go back, and in general, it's not recommending any changes for neighborhood 3. I'll look and see what we can find out about additional protections for Malta Gardens. And then
Not
we'll,
against changes to neighborhood 3, I need to do more research, especially on that form-based code, if you wanna change that one area.
right. But again, we can discuss that more thoroughly when we discuss neighborhood 6, which is the downtown.
We gotta go back to
It's
that.
probably more appropriate for that to have been in downtown.
That's almost the whole separate.
Yeah, conversation.
That's-
All right, we ready to move on to neighborhood 4? Neighborhood 4 is the area that is bordered by East Line Road, so the town of Ballston Town Line, East Line Road, and the town of Malta. It includes Rural Road, Avondale, Candlewood, Ailes area. The other side, for the most part, it's bordered by the Northway. There's a little piece that's on the other side of the Northway, which, if you look, most of it is zoned land conservation. There's a little piece of yellow on the other side bordering Route 9 that is not. which that yellow piece on the other side of the Northway is the place that AMR wants to redevelop. I think it would have made more sense for that to be in neighborhood 3, but it's on this map in neighborhood 4.
We didn't have anything to do with that, did we?
No, that was,
The neighborhoods were actually drawn
Years ago.
back in 2005, and we didn't choose to modify any of those, which that might have been a smart thing to do anyway, but we didn't do it.
You know, there's a few weird things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have made more
when you,
sense.
yeah, when you read neighborhood 3's definitions and uses and things like
Right.
that,
It seems
tiny-
appropriate for neighborhood 3's definitions to be that parcel
yep,
that's on the other side of the Northway. So a lot of this is LC.
yep.
What do you guys, what's your take?
So in the comp plan, we found on recommendation number 14, page 17. Basically, that's where it talks about changing the zoning in a neighborhood 4 from R1 to R5. Again, similar discussion that we had for the Maltaville area. Do you want to increase those 1 acre lots to 5 acre lots? Which, how many are left?
Where's this at?
East Line Road, Ruley Road,
Ruler Road, Candlewood.
Candlewood.
So Avondale.
We're already, it's your hood.
But it's already developed.
It's already developed, except for the East Line Road
Right.
area.
I had a question before. The corner of East Line and 67. What's going on there with traffic wise? Didn't we drop $1 million for it?
Yes,
Study.
well, we did, we got money for it.
The county,
We
for
just
design.
recently reapplied for TIPS funding for the roundabout.
So I'll ask, for the future, does that look more like a go or a no-go
It'll be a go eventually,
Down the road.
down the road?
if we get TIPS money sooner rather than later.
That would alleviate some traffic.
That
That
should
would.
mitigate a lot of the
Don't
traffic.
go circle ever for,
Round Lake Road,
Round Lake Road.
Round Lake Road
I
and East
called,
Line,
and East Line.
where the cemetery is.
Yeah.
I reached out to the DOT about that, and they said that, it really can't be a roundabout because, largely because of the cemetery and the takings, it's too tight an area, and that roundabouts are expensive.
There,
and-
utility,
Yeah,
there's
he
utility.
said there were a lot of problems with
Box
it
on it.
being,
Yeah.
The southwest.
Yep,
South.
southwest, you're right,
Southwest.
southwest corner.
and they said basically that they're, the only real solution to mitigate that traffic would be a roundabout, and they can't put a roundabout there. So,
So, one of my concerns is this. The typical house over there, say Candlewood, Willie Road, Avondale, I'm assuming it's about a 1/4 acre of land.
Or less.
Minus 0.35.
Okay. And now we have Mountain View going in there. How big are those lots?
0.18.
And
They're,
now,
they're ranging anywhere from 9 to 12,000 square feet. How's that?
and now the recommendation is on this to possibly rezone to 2 acres, 1.8 acres. It just
That's
doesn't
called-
seem,
Ready? That's called Johnny Come Lately.
Johnny come Hartzell.
right.
yeah, because that was not something that was in the original, it was not in the original comp plan that the committee put together. It got Hartzell.
I'd like to see as many single residential homes in Malta as possible, but I'd like to see it like on at least a 1/4 acre of land and not crammed together. And if we downzone this to 2 acres of land, now we're just gonna have
Sprawl.
next to density and it just doesn't make, one neighborhood doesn't transition nicely into another neighborhood.
I'm in agreement
Do
to
we,
some degree, because like I say, it was against the committee's recommendation.
do we look at R1 and say, all right, minimum lot size is 1/4 acre land, maximum, 1 acre, something like that?
Well, just be mindful that New York State town law requires that when you come in with a subdivision, large major subdivision, that you cluster them, which means you, say you have 20 acres. You're building on 10. The other 10 are to be reserved in open space areas, for instance. So that 10 acres, so now you had 20 lots, now you have to put those 20 lots on 10 acres, so it already makes them a half an acre lot. Or less, because you gotta pull out the road infrastructure. So that's where you get these a third of an acre or what have you. So that's how we get all these smaller lots within the R1 zoning.
But if, one person owns 1 acre and they want to build a house on it, they can just build their house.
Right,
Right.
that's fine. What I don't want to see is 0.18 acres for a house. And how many were going down there, 119 houses?
119. And there's not that many lots left that would support a large
Subdivision.
subdivision.
So then why change it?
That was the question planners had
Yeah, at the time.
at the time.
And
If you would've asked me a year ago, make it 2 acres, I would've jumped all over it.
it might,
Is
You're
there,
learning.
it probably still would not have
Looking at you,
changed.
Craig, you know
Yeah.
why.
is there a way to protect that we
Never hear
don't?
the end of it, Al.
Never.
Never.
Never. My son's gonna talk to you when he gets older about it.
I think the density of Mountain View is too much. Is there a way to protect the rest of the town from that not happening? If you're in agreement with it.
You'd have to go into the conservation subdivision code.
What was
right?
that, Matt?
Put in
I
there
didn't
lots
hear
of
it.
I
things.
believe the density of Mountain View is too much.
I mean, that was kind of a special case also because of the conservation easement.
Well,
So,
it's, our zoning code allows it
Yeah.
though. I mean, we,
Right, you'd still get 119 homes roughly on that piece of property prior to the new
Right.
wetland regulations and things. They would have just been everywhere instead of down in the lower
Spread
area
out
and
more.
on one side to try and preserve
There would've been spaced
the
out.
view shed. You still would have gotten roughly the same amount of homes though, whether you did that or not. So there's always that to think about.
Would that have been better?
I don't know.
I think it would've been a little bit more aesthetic to the eye.
But it would have been more costly.
said it,
from an
Also-
infrastructure standpoint, too.
Conservation easement is not part of that development, is it?
yes.
yes, it is.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
The west
So
end?
six-
yeah.
60 acres
That
is
was a
developed in
big
60
part
acres.
of
Acres is being preserved in perpetuity.
Right.
So who owns
That
that
will
property?
never change.
The
The farmer.
the farmers, the same people own the property.
There's just no development rights.
So the development, it's gonna be the other guy's property, right?
Yes,
That was his property.
that was subdivided off.
Yeah, I'm having a hard concept with that idea. If I build next to Luther Forest, can I use Luther Forest as my open space, other guy's property?
Just keep in mind that it was 119 acres or thereabouts owned by one individual who came in and proposed the subdivision. And in the process, we wanted to have a agricultural conservation easement.
I got it. I'm just gonna fast forward, right?
Okay.
10 years. All the houses are built, all the houses are occupied, right? And that development, if it has an HOA or not, right? That easement is still Mitchell's property that he said, I won't build, correct?
No, can't do it.
Yeah, he didn't just say it.
Say what?
He didn't just say he can't build there.
No, if he gets
Easement.
the new town board all say yes.
Nope.
and He says
No.
yes,
There's a legal document that's been filed that
Forever.
removes.
Yes.
Forever.
Well,
Yep.
you trying to tell me that never can be changed?
Yeah,
It can be changed. Al just explained why on the last time he got up here.
no, so the
not go
conservation
there.
easement prevents that from occurring. They've given up their rights to development in that area. It gets recorded, it would require, I mean, there's a legal process through through the DEC, but it's not what you think. It's not just coming.
It's not
in
easy,
and-
but there's a legal process, so perpetuity is a
legal
great word,
process for
but
everything.
but it really ain't perpetuity.
it's as close as you can possibly get.
Yes.
Right.
We have.
Maybe it only counts in horseshoes being close.
I mean,
But this is stuff that's
Can't hurt to
used
ask the question.
in other parts
Right.
of the state as well, like to preserve areas in Westchester County or Long Island.
Listen,
This is stuff
I know a gimmick when I see one, I get it.
There's other areas
Where
of
you
town.
moved from, Al?
Huh?
Where you moved from? on
Yeah,
the island?
it's no different from with the Cornthwaite conservation easement that we granted.
That's a
The
trust.
state of New York and Saratoga Plan did the
Sweeney property?
Well, I was talking about Bowman
Bowman.
Orchards, the Sweeney property, and so Saratoga Plan and the Round Lake Preserve and all of that is,
I'm just being, I don't know.
you're just being ill, it's okay.
Sure, that's
Yeah.
right. I
I
mean-
just wanted to make a point that when it says perpetuity, that it's forever, ever, ever, it can be changed. That's all I'm saying. It's not forever.
So on these
Not easy, I agree, but it
land easements,
can be changed.
So,
what happens to the taxes? The taxes are actually
Because that was the town
lowered
benefit.
substantially, right?
For the conservation easement, I don't know about substantially.
Mitchell, he was farming it anyways.
Right.
So he's probably already receiving ag exemption, which is basically like the lowest assessment that you can get. So it's not, generally, they don't change when it's active agriculture. You just, it still stays the same. So it's not technically hurting us tax roll wise.
Right.
It's still paying taxes, but it's still a lower.
I got,
Well, our end has
where I
been
roll
dropped
forward
at
to
all.
is, this is where I link it, right? That's the town benefit for all you guys, because that was the town benefit. So when we get into discussing the
It's
town
there
benefit,
forever.
it's not.
it is. We preserved the view shed
They
according to the
can
town.
be changed
I mean,
by the
we
courts.
can go,
as I
is this
recall.
really part of the zoning?
No, I'm
question?
just
So
having a
think
discussion.
this
I
is
wanna
a
get.
Side question for
No,
another day.
I wanna get down the road a little bit, when we get into the education part, when people say this is a town benefit, right? And I'm like, I don't know, the people up north ain't getting no town benefit for Mitchell not, developing his property there.
Well,
So when we get
Hartsel
to
drove
town
by it
benefit,
and went,
I'd rather take
"It's
the
all
money
gone."
when we get to town benefits.
The-
Hey, Al, real quick, this wasn't a PDD, so the benefit is
Yeah.
not the
Right.
concept. This is a conservation easement.
I'm
which is
off the
part-
reservations right now, I
Right.
Yes, you
understand
are.
Which is part of the town.
Reel 'em
not only
back
town
in.
code, but state law, and the promotion, because of declining agricultural space and open space, these type of subdivisions are encouraged and encouraged throughout our comp plan. So the PDD and the benefit will be a different conversation, but yes, ultimately, the planning board reviews these conservation easements and these conservation subdivisions and says, yes, this land should be conserved, it's good land, it can be used agriculturally, it has meaning. So the trade-off that you get is you get the same density that you would have had on the whole lot, but now you can get that, the same number of homes on the whole lot, now you can get more density on the smaller lot because you're protecting this area.
I get that, I'll just, I'm just making a point when
But if
it
we-
comes to
right.
town benefit that,
Right.
it wasn't our shining moment.
if we,
I don't think it
Well, it-
benefited
you know.
the whole town.
Of course not.
There's no town benefit. 'cause
It's
no
not,
PDD.
How much
it's not a
more-
PDD, it's
Right.
not a town
a
All
benefit.
right, so listen, we'll get off that, we'll go to
Right.
different neighborhood.
okay, so,
Wait,
How much
wait,
more
wait.
neighborhood 4 can be developed?
I can't find those in here. Where are the build outs?
like
It's a map in the back,
Like
right?
86.
That was at the start of all the
Pretty high.
neighborhoods in the comp plan. Every single one said built
my Monkey
percentage
wrench, I just want, well,
possibly
more careful on
added
my
in
head.
afterwards.
People say town benefit.
Maybe a few
Projected
lots,
residential growth combined.
Town benefit.
but you've got the ag district there, so the ag district is gonna prevent you from
Right,
doing
a
stuff.
lot of that's in the ag district.
And then you've got conserved land, you've got Avondale's, open space for HOA lands.
So, East Line, estimated number of buildable units left, and this was before Mountain View,
It's built out, Berkshire.
before Mountain View was approved. 189, so minus 119,
So it's about there.
Pack it in.
we're like 70
did.
units
70
maybe.
units.
So,
Maybe,
Yeah.
but with the wetlands, we're probably down to like
Now we
25,
got more
okay,
benefit.
so as of
That's gonna
right,
be a huge hurdle for us at wetland bed.
yeah.
as of right now, it's R1. There's no conservation easements, applications up there.
No, it isn't a good.
So arguably, say they could build 70, they need 70, 40,000 acre lots.
Crazy.
Is what you're saying is available?
Yeah.
Roughly?
Yeah,
Okay. Or 35 2-acre lots.
So, am I hearing that you don't want to make any changes to neighborhood,
My overall concept is
leave it?
single-family homes, but not so dense like Mountain View. I don't like that. I like at least a quarter of an acre. I
So
think that's,
I'm gonna
think
bring
that's what
something
most
else
people-
up also.
what's that?
When I talk to these realtors, they say that single-family houses are not as attractive as a condo anymore. So if we're planning for single-family houses across a majority of our town, how is the market gonna influence our zoning?
Right now, neighborhood 4 is zoned R1.
Right.
Right.
And I don't,
Right.
so
I
we either
just-
keep it R1 or we downzone it to R5 is kind of our two options here.
And you're favoring leaving it alone?
I am leaning that way.
Okay,
Okay,
neighborhood 4. I want to try to
Mine are
stay on
support that.
topic, right?
What you have, what else you have, Craig?
No, I
just don't wanna get into that-
I'm
that-
just thinking
right.
about a whole nother
Yeah.
conversation.
Right. So I want to kind of stay on topic here with this, and we'll have another workshop where we beat all that stuff around.
Lesson
we get
learned
closer
about
to
public
town.
benefit, is been noted.
I do have a question about the conservation easement. I get it. I understand what you're saying, that, you know, we gave, half that land is being conserved, and the other half is basically what you could have put on the whole, we're now crunching into half of it.
Well, I look at it too, because we have other partners. Of course, if you look across the street, they're building like mad. All the way on Round Lake Road, on the other side of East Line Road.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly Farms, and then they're gonna put another strip
Yeah.
mall back there.
Yeah.
They're gonna be packed to the gills.
Can we?
In the town of
we're giving
Boston.
some buffer between us with an open space for East Line.
But people in the north can't utilize it, because
With a
public
conservation
benefit,
easement,
don't walk on the property.
is with a conservation
go.
easement, do we
Can't,
give,
someone else's property.
can we have control
public
over how
benefit.
much land
Get that way, I guarantee. you.
is the minimum lot size to build a house on the part of the land that would be developed? In other words, when Mountain View occurred and half it's being preserved, did we have the authority to say, you can't build 119 houses on the remaining land? Could we have said, you still need a quarter acre of land on the area that's going to be developed? Or,
I mean, I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know the
After
answer to that.
cluster, isn't it?
I mean, you're we're meeting New York State town laws and in our cluster, open space conservation subdivision, it states, there's a formula for how many lots you can get, right? You have to pull out your constrained lands and so forth, and then that basically says, it came out to, you can get 119 homes. So however they carve up that developable area into the 119 homes in that area is how that formula works, in a nutshell.
Right.
So, no, I don't know how you say they have to be a minimum lot size if you're gonna do that. Because the R1 zoning is 40,000 square feet. And then,
yeah, I like the 40,000 square feet. I just,
well, I mean, it's infrastructure, you know, if you have larger lots, it costs more to put infrastructure in. Town roads become longer, utilities in the ground. I mean, the cost of
Building.
building increases with larger lot sizes. If you're doing.
And the cost of infrastructure is the developer's largest overhead cost.
I'm not concerned about the developer.
The roads and the,
Well, then you're gonna have $1.5
Water,
million
sewer.
homes, you know, all in Malta.
That's why I don't want the 2 acre minimum lot size.
Well,
So just to try to keep us on topic here, because we're getting a little bit off.
Well, I mean, it's a fair question.
that Ricky
What
guy.
minimum lot size do we
Tangent.
want in our town?
Well, that's, I mean, if we're leaving this, the minimum lot size is 1 acre. Right?
it's small,
It's,
by
right,
straight zoning without the conservation
Right.
What do we
subdivision.
want?
I don't think there's any, I mean,
I gotta think, we'll just, it all depends on where and when and what. you
Yeah.
know. because some,
There's
depending on
market
the
factors that involved and there's personality.
geology of the, setbacks and mountains and, it's everything's, but anyhow, Mountain Four,
wetlands-
Neighborhood 4, right? We done?
We're
Neighborhood
gonna leave it
4,
alone?
leave it alone.
I think we
Damage
would
done.
probably have
Yes.
to find out more
5.
information from the state
Don't mess it
about,
up anymore.
Nothing for what's that, perpetuity?
because,
That means maybe.
Perpetuity.
I think you can,
I don't think so either, but
It means
got me.
forever.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, I ain't willing to bet my life on that, tell you that
On
much.
an easement,
because
or,
conservation zoning, all that stuff is
land
from the state.
Got a good lawyer.
can
I mean,
that
we
be
could just say, hey, state.
overturned?
So Matt, to ask you
By
a
the
question,
court.
I just think we don't have to downsize.
For example,
It's
Yeah.
already
you
full.
have a
We're
land,
having too many
I know.
conversations.
Yep.
at one
Let's
time.
go on to neighborhood 5.
All right.
5.
Neighborhood 5 is Luther Forest. I mean, when you look at it, you'll see
Okay.
a lot of it is the planned development district for Luther Forest.
Never passed this
Um,
one, should I?
The green part on the bottom
affordable housing
is,
there also, isn't it?
no, it's Luther Forest.
Luther Forest and
Very,
And-
very
right.
reasonable.
And the
LFTC.
LFTC is the
Yeah,
big
maybe.
blue block, right?
I never passed this one.
No.
This is what we're gonna talk about.
So it includes LFTC. Oh, she's got notes.
Pass one down to Barb.
Does Matt have notes?
I don't know. Did I miss you, Matt?
You missed me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, these are the notes for everything, right?
Yeah, these are,
So neighborhood
these
5.
are my crib
yeah,
notes for
crib
today.
notes. So basically, neighborhood 5 is Luther Forest, like I said. It's bordered by the town of Stillwater on the east, and basically Route 9, not the commercial part of Route 9, on the west. It includes the STEP campus, which is owned by the state of New York. It includes the Global Foundries, LFTC. And there really are, originally, the comp plan recommended to revise some of the uses for the Luther Forest Technology Campus. But in talking with staff, we're kind of thinking that maybe it's better to wait and see, now that Global Foundries actually owns the entire park. At that time, it was owned by the
Luther Forest.
the Forest Corp. And so we talked today about probably might make more sense to wait and see what Global Foundries actually plans for the site than to make any changes at all right
They
now.
haven't done a site plan for 8.2 or anything?
Yes, they have.
It's approved.
Yes, it's approved.
They have to get
Yeah.
extension
I just
this year.
look at that later.
And as far as the Luther Forest PDD,
By my office.
that's, pretty much, there's a little bit of land left that's still in the PDD where they could build. I don't think there's anything
Where is that
actually
at?
proposed down
What land have they developed?
down towards the lake, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some 70, 80 acres, right? Something like that.
On the south side of 9P. Now, that PDD, does it kind of stipulate what the housing looks like on Luther Forest?
Looks like the rest of Luther Forest.
Well, you've got two
somewhere it's different.
PDDs. You've got Luther Forest PDD number 9 and LFTC 46.
Right.
And then NYSERDA. So you got 3 different,
For example, Thimbleberry are townhomes,
Yep.
Meadow Row is single-family homes.
right.
Right.
Probably about a quarter acre of land.
That's PDD number 9.
Right.
So the remaining part that hasn't been developed yet, if they ever decide they want to develop it, do they get to pick and choose which one they want to do, whether it be townhomes or single-family homes?
So PDD number 9, Santa Maria Bluff on the corner of Kramer, basically, and Route 9P. There is a filed subdivision plat for, I want to say condo / townhome stuff.
There were 4 plexes.
Fourplexes, yeah, and a few, maybe a few 2-unit or something like that, but generally fourplexes. It is a filed plat.
It's what?
It's a filed subdivision.
as part of the Luther Forest subdivision, the Luther Forest Plan Development District.
Was that the
Yes.
Verone
Brown,
Yes.
yep,
property that he started logging?
Yep.
And wasn't that approved also?
it's approved.
Yeah.
It's approved. It has water,
Has
I
the
think
water and sewer, I think, is close.
yep, almost to the property.
And the
outside.
quantity of houses was how much?
112 units.
112,
112?
fourplexes, basically.
And have they extended their permit on that?
They don't have a building permit. They have subdivision approval. I don't know if they've renewed any of their external outside agency
Nice
permits
house there.
recently. They did in 2017,
Right, and I'm involved in that, I think.
so.
And
'cause
then
they-
it seemed to go stagnant. I mean, it just sat there. They brought the water up, the sewer up, but they haven't gone forward any further since
Correct.
then.
There's a lot of pavement in that project that makes it probably most likely not cost-effective to build.
So that's why it
We'll
hasn't.
call it infrastructure.
Infrastructure, exactly.
Infrastructure cost.
So,
Infrastructure costs are preventing it to be constructed.
so like I say, as far as neighborhood 5, nobody's really recommending any changes right now at all. So unless you guys have
PDD
something else
number
to
9
say.
is basically built out
Yeah.
except for Santa Maria
Right.
Bluff.
So now,
for Everything.
if we're good with neighborhood 5, we're gonna skip 6 and 7 and save those till later.
Why?
They need a little more work and we only have
We're not
15
ready.
minutes left.
6 is the downtown, so home-based code, that should be its own.
6 is the downtown,
situation.
7 is 67 west, which I think we're gonna need a little more conversation on. I think we can get through neighborhood 8
Yep.
in the 15 minutes. Because again, the only real recommendation, so neighborhood 8 for everyone out there is Saratoga Lake area. And it's all of the lake basically from the city of Saratoga Springs to the town of Stillwater. It's just that little neighborhood in the middle. The only real recommendation that was made by the committee, or by the comp plan and the committee, was to give our stormwater management personnel more teeth in monitoring and handling the stormwater, the substandard building lots down there. It gives them authority over building lots that are less than an acre, which are most of them. And we already did that.
Yep.
So,
Check.
check,
Alright,
done.
well, no, let me wrap my head around this here.
Darn. I'll make you do neighborhood 9.
I have 16 questions.
Yes.
I'm gonna kick you.
So,
So it's only this, Matt. It's only the Lake Shore.
yep.
I got a question.
So I know this is an anomaly down there as far as lot sizes. Is there, what is that zone?
R4.
That's all 4.
Doesn't really matter what zone, because,
15,000 square feet, yep.
And somewhere 6. But
and they're all still non-conforming.
That's commercial.
That's all commercial. Here,
Not too much
right
to
there.
do down there. This,
So now, resident down there, usually it's a nightmare if they even want to build a deck off the back of their house.
Yep.
Yep,
And all these places were built in the 1920s and
Yep.
yep.
is there something we can do to help them?
it's called the zoning variance board. You sit on it long enough, you'd get sick of hearing it after a while.
A vast majority of the applications that go before the zoning are a lot, well, should say vast majority, a lot of them are properties down by the lake that want to build a deck, or they want to build a new house and they need variances, and generally they're granted.
Is,
Can you guys do that? Or the zone?
The
board?
zoning board does
Yeah.
that, zoning board of
They
appeals.
get
For
the variance,
they do that.
is the 15,000 minimum lot size, is that what that lot is down there? It's been a while since I.
Which lot?
They're all
Some are,
So
some
they,
aren't.
they range anywhere from
From 1 to
5,000
3.
square feet to a couple acres.
5,000 square feet.
Is generally, so the 1927 subdivision map created many 5,000 square foot lots. Over time, we've had, and the comp plan encourages this, to combine lots, so now you're getting closer to that 15,000. So we now have some 5, we have some 10, 7 or 8, because things have been split, you know.
How big was the lot we sold? Anybody know?
Oh, you mean the town? that-
Yeah,
Is that thing even 5,000 square foot?
it's tiny.
And it's a
tiny.
triangle.
Yeah.
Triangular?
So if somebody wants to subdivide down there, they, according to this, they have to have at least 15,000.
They're,
You gotta have more.
30,000
You gotta have,
more, 'cause
you
you
gotta
have
have
to be in
30,000.
yeah,
each lot has to-
there's really, there might be a couple down there.
I think the lake is done, except for,
I mean, there's a couple of people that own several parcels.
Right.
And some larger parcels
Yeah, but there's not a whole lot of larger
They're all wet.
parcels. Yeah, and they're wet.
with no access.
what's
or
going on with the
limited.
marina?
They even
Anything
get
about the
wetter.
marina?
Nope,
No bites?
not that we know.
Down at the bottom of Forest Street, 114 Forest Street is by that 1927 map, a 3-lot piece of property. Does that person have a right to split that up into those 3 single lots?
How big,
I know,
I
so
think you can
basically,
answer
What's the
that.
property?
if you go
What's
down
the
Forest
address?
Street, if you go down Forest Street, almost every piece of property on there is a single lot by that 1927 map.
Correct.
And one of them happens to be a 3-lot, and one of them, a kitty corner, that's a double lot. The question I have is, if that owner wants to subdivide that triple lot to the single lots that already exist on that street, is he allowed to do that?
The only way, I don't know what size the lots are. Anybody has the right to go to the zoning board of appeals to ask for lot size variances. If you don't have that 15,000 square feet plus 100 feet of road frontage, then you would need to, if you were to try to do that, planners will try to talk you out of it. But you have the right to make an application to the zoning board of appeals to ask for a variance for minimum lot size, minimum road frontage, probably setbacks. Would they do that? I don't know.
If I bought a 5,000 square foot lot down there,
They're not gonna subdivide that.
No.
okay,
Yeah.
no, follow me on this one, right? I buy a 5,000 square foot lot, there's an old cabin on it, I knock it down, and I now build a new house on
You can build on that footprint.
that footprint.
Without variances,
Without
go outside
variances.
the footprint with anything, then you've gotta ask.
And
for-
with
for
setbacks.
variance.
As long as you meet the setbacks.
Problem is, Pat, they try to exceed that footprint substantially. And it's creating other neighbors on the side of them, and it's creating a watershed issue
My,
down there.
my concern is protecting the property owners down there. If they want to improve their dwellings, then all of a sudden, they knock it down and now they can't build because the lot size is too small per our zoning.
They can build on that footprint no matter what.
And we have a lot of
Right.
conversations with people. They will call and come in and ask us that. And we will tell them, building will say, you know, if you have a survey, you need to have your footprint of your existing structure on there. We recommend it. That way, when you knock it down, we know where it was and you can build back in that. And when you go outside of that, then you have to do the variances. So, I mean, we try to let everyone know, you know, how it goes down there and try to be helpful as we can. Short of eliminating setbacks down there, which causes a whole
Oh,
nother
yeah.
set of issues, because you'll have some that'll be fine and not try
with
to do
that
anymore,
one
and
house
then
on
you'll
the
have people
corner.
that'll build right,
I
you
know,
know,
I know.
as we know,
Briggs-
right, you know.
For example, the dollhouse that was sold off, they knocked that property down, and I think they're gonna put something else up there.
But on the footprint of the house that was
But it
there,
would have to be on the footprint, right?
or get a variance.
Without a variance.
Without a variance.
Well, yeah,
They could apply for a variance.
that's always an option, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, but Matt, to your question about the lot size, you know, it's a big difference when it's a vacant lot
Yeah.
versus an existing home. So, you know, there's substandard lot stuff in our code and in town law that, you know, so when we rezone anything, like not not even on the lake, if you go from a 2 acre to a 1 acre, if you didn't have a house there, you're losing the right to build on that 1 acre lot, that 2 acre lot, because it went down to 1 acre. So, or vice versa, but you
Vice
see
versa,
what I'm
yeah.
saying, but if you have an existing house that's grandfathered and it gets to stay like that, if you knock it down, now you can build in that footprint, but you can't, you need to get variance.
If you,
You know, just, you
If you
can't look at
exceed
this,
the
the new lot size 15,000 is required. So unless you have a way around that because your house predated that and it's the same as it was, you can't just as of a right say lot line adjust and create another 5,000
but
lot.
by the same token, if you buy a vacant lot and it's 7,000 square feet, you can't build anything without a zoning variance. So,
Yeah.
because there's no footprint of anything, so,
Most likely we'll need setbacks and lot
right.
coverage for lot size.
So we good with neighborhood 8?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
So it's it's getting close to 5:30, so I kind of committed to, stopping at 5:30 to give us all a break. I think we accomplished a lot. We got through 6 neighborhoods. And then, for our next workshop, which, I proposing we have another one on, March 10th, hopefully. March 10th and the 24th to get through the neighborhoods and then, you know, we'll start with neighborhood 9, we'll keep going 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, which of course, none of those, some of them, Route 9 North was already rezoned, and the comp plan basically just makes it, you know, in conformity with what was rezoned back in, I think it was 2017.
4 o'clock on March 10th.
4 o'clock on March 10th, and then we'll save the best for last, 6 and 7, if you want to do homework.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to address PDDs, C7.
Yep, those are things that we kind of, we thought we'd wait and have a special meeting for all of those sorts of
Just a
things.
warm-up round.
PDDs,
Conservation easements.
C7, you know, I think that's an easy fix. You know, we're gonna make if we can make a, maximum building footprint to disallow, you know, anything that's, you know, too big, because we don't want big lots, generally. Yeah, I'd like to propose workshops for the 10th and the 24th.
We're really pushing through,
Told you I was gonna make you work.
but it's gonna be done.
We're out of time before we jump ahead.
Yeah,
We had all this time to do it, we never did it.
Pencil it in, Al. Yeah, I mean, this really should have started the day after the comp plan was adopted, so,
It should have been almost part of the comp.
yeah.
You have
So,
to adopt the
next
comp
workshop
plan
is
before you
what?
can do
I know
zoning.
it.
24th?
Yeah,
But like everything
Today's
else,
the 24th.
yeah, we're gonna start 9, we're gonna do 9,
Don't worry, not-
March, so the 24th of March.
March 24th.
March 10th first.
10th, what about the 3rd?
that's
We
right.
have a town board meeting. We could meet, I'll do a workshop on the 3rd.
I'd rather do one Monday than 2 Mondays. What's that?
She'll do both of them, so just take the time.
Who? Listen, whatever you guys wanna do. I'm good.
Gotta get this done.
Perpetuity.